I'm in the beautiful village of Dunboyne in County Meath, where this community has helped one local boy achieve his dream collection. Meet Shay and Cillian Brennan from Dunboyne in County Meath, along with Shay's extensive collection of fruit and vegetable teddies.
So I'm Laura and this is my husband Colm. We're together nearly 15 years and we're married nearly 5, and then we've 2 boys. So we've Shay and Cillian. Shay is 8 and Cillian is 6.
Shay was just over 3 years old when he was diagnosed with autism.
With Shay, I think myself and Laura had a bit of an idea early on. There was a bit of an issue or a problem. I think we were both kind of upset, but for me it was nearly not a relief. But now they're the things that he'd been doing that was different to other kids, it was then giving me an idea, right, there's a reason behind it. Unfortunately with autism it's a broad spectrum, so you can't pinpoint exactly what the solution is or what the best approach is. Laura might admit that she always wanted to push Shay further and harder and harder and harder.
2 plus 2.
Good.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent.
4 in there. Wow.
Super.
With Shay, I think our motto is slowly but surely, and that's the approach we've taken. Sometimes when you feel he is getting a bit better, you push him a little bit. With Shay, if you push him too much, like an elastic band, he breaks. But if you push him just a little bit, you'll see him develop better and better.
Looking back on things, you know, for me, I suppose that comparing to other kids his age and looking to see what he wasn't able to do, and like that sort of stuff was just kind of soul destroying, because you know he was never going to keep up with his peers of that age, and it just can be kind of depressing to concentrate on that. So we had to flip that around and kind of concentrate on what was achievable for Shay and what goals were kind of realistic for him.
I am Sam.
Good. This one.
Sam can see.
Excellent. This one. Sam, yeah.
Sam can
Yeah.
see a
Yeah.
rat.
Excellent.
Over the last year, and particularly during lockdown, Colm, Laura and Cillian helped Shay achieve lots of new goals.
And pull.
Yeah. Now, little loop.
Is that right? Yes.
Yeah. Under.
Under here.
Yeah. And pull.
Pull.
Yes. Woo! Good man, that's it. Good boy. So will you tell everybody what your name is?
Shay.
Yeah, and what age are you?
7.
Not 7 anymore though. What age are you?
6.
No, you're
8.
8.
Yeah.
And where do you live?
Dunboyne.
Dunboyne. And who's your brother? Cillian, is he the best brother?
Yes.
I think it's made our approach to life different, as in we do not worry about small little things. The
person I feel it's actually affected in a good way the most is Cillian, because as I say, we'd be in places, hi Cillian, we'd be in places and Shay would have a meltdown or wouldn't be happy, and Cillian would be having a great time, but as a family we'd have to leave, and in fairness to Cillian, he'd always just go with the flow. We describe him as the best little big brother because he kind of does everything for Shay. He kind of teaches him how to, whether it be wrestling or whether it be playing with the cards or whatever else, and to be honest with you, Shay has come on probably the most because of what Cillian has done with him.
5-year-old Cillian helps his big brother Shay in lots of different ways.
Doing games, doing football, doing bowling and all of that stuff.
Cillian also told us what his favourite subject in school is.
Lunch.
Colm, along with other local parents, raise funds yearly for the Autism Network in Dunboyne.
Thanks to the people in Dunboyne and I suppose further afield and businesses, and we end up raising €30,000 in our first year, 25 on our second year and 20 I think on our third year. There is certain things like horse riding, swimming, that bring kids with autism on. It brings them out into a social environment, it brings them into an environment with animals, it gets them talking, it gets them mixing, and them small things which probably are small for say the likes of Cillian or children that don't have autism, they're massive for kids with autism.
Laura explains the process of Shay's autistic diagnosis.
fortunately for us, it worked well. And as Shay started being assessed probably around that 2.5 mark, and it was all done and dusted by the time he was just over 3. I mean, I can tell you so many children since Shay who that has not been the case for, and it's just been long waiting lists. The numbers are increasing and the lists are getting longer. Depends on where you live. Some of the services are just absolutely appalling, and their services, they're so flooded with people, I suppose it's barely anything. So it's very much, that's why the fundraiser was so amazing, because it meant that all the class had speech all year round. They did the likes of music therapy and like then the horse riding, swimming, all them, and the social clubs. So because they're not accessing services that they need. So it means, I suppose it just means that we were able to fund that and keep all them things going for kids who couldn't get them, and parents who are in situations that can't afford it.
Now it's time to find out about Shay's extensive fruit and vegetable teddy collection.
Mr. Blueberry.
Shay kind of goes through he gets something in his head, and that's all he'll want and talk about. And over COVID, he was so good over the whole lockdown thing. He was amazing, and he didn't really look for anything. But then towards the end, kind of, I suppose not that long ago, he got obsessed with looking at it was like Aldi had done them, the little food teddies.
Kevin.
Yeah, and you couldn't get them anymore. So I was like, oh my God, so we're looking them up on Amazon and eBay and everything, trying to find them. So then, actually, I think it was one of Colm's sisters said to me, why don't you put it up on Dunboyne notice board and see if people could help. So I just put it up, a little post about it, and oh my God, we were absolutely flooded.
Floor of a bedroom upstairs full of teddies.
Yeah, we had everybody. We had kids coming up to the door, dropping in ones that they weren't using anymore. We had, so many mammies getting in touch to say, I've this. So he's the entire collection, I think, now. So much so I had to actually say to people, no, we could have sold them. We could have, they just kept coming.
We didn't sell them. In case this goes out, we didn't sell any teddies to make money.
But I was like, it's such a small little example of how great people are.
It really is, like, I think Laura uses a proverb that, it takes a village to raise a child, and it genuinely does, because, there's now, for me, Shay used to be a bit of a wanderer, and by wandering he'd walk off and you wouldn't be able to find him. And for me, it happened just once when we were away in Wexford, and it was a massive fear factor. But if it ever happens in Dunboyne, you're still a fear factor, but everyone knows him, and everyone's going to say that's Colin Brennan's young fella, that's Laura Whitaker's young fella, and they know where to bring him back or whatever. So it's such a good tight knit community.
Some rice cake.
You want a rice cake? Go ahead, yeah. Shay likes to eat 24/7. Yeah, but it is such a great tight-knit community. We're really, really lucky, and I suppose people just go above and beyond, and it kind of does blow us away sometimes.
Bye.
For more on this story, you can go to slowlybutsurely.blog.